coming out of 2020, a year, the pandemic, just as a whole, we've never really seen a year like that. Even when I talk to my elders, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, and just other elders in general, they can't even compare 2020 to anything that they've seen. And I know for me, man, 2020, again, losing my mother, I had my first child, my son was born in 2020. So it was just a wide variety of just shit going on for me.
Right.
But even with the stuff I just named, like I have very much like been able to get to a place where like, man, I tell my wife all the time, like, yo, we're gonna look back 10 years from now and be able to say, like, yo, 2020 was like the year where like it literally made us. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we're really gonna be grateful for. So like just
No.
for you, man, what did you learn about yourself spiritually and mentally, just as a whole, in this tumultuous year that we just came off of?
Right. Man, I actually went through a lot. It's I went through like something personal. I ain't gonna put their business out there, but I went through something extremely personal that was like I had never experienced before, and I was crushed by it. I was like hurt, like didn't eat for like 5 days and shit like that. Like couldn't eat. Um, and it was just an emotional roller coaster for me. Um, that I had to really dig deep and understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling, and understand where those emotions and feelings come from. And that's what I learned, dog, was that I had more to give than what I was given. And
Mm,
I don't mean monetarily. I mean like I have a lot of insight and I have a lot of life experience that can help people. Uh, and I was a lot of times I carry around as I think when I get in public talking format, I loosen up a little bit. But like in my personal life, like I can get really cold. I can get really apathetic. Um, and I think that's the biggest thing is like I opened up tremendously this year, like a whole new cat, just like one on one, and then my family feels it. Like my close people know it because I was just on this. I don't know. I get in this mode sometime where it's like I get closed off. I get really apathetic and I get cold. It's like I just don't care. Um, that like where I don't give a fuck. Like that shit is I could do that all day.
mhm,
But what this shit has showed me was like that shit is it's just a reflection of how I felt about the world.
mhm,
And if I want to be the kind of human that I'm inspired by, then I can't be like that. And I end up internalizing all those feelings anyway, and they manifest in other ways that I'm not proud of. And
mhm.
so uh, instead of having, I'm trying to have less of those moments I'm not proud of, and that's the growth. And so that's the main thing I learned, man. I mean, on top of feeling, I also feel shitty, dog. And this had nothing to do with anything, but just as the circumstances, just feeling shitty because I think it was like we had like 23% unemployment or something like that, and as a country, and like I made I don't know. I'm not a fan of this economic system, but I made so much money during the pandemic, and that's not a flex. That's me like dealing with this cognitive dissonance of making money, but like knowing people are hurting and starving. Like
Yeah,
this shit is fucked up, and
yeah,
I hate the system for it.
yeah.
And so like struggling with that. I know somebody listening like nigga, what you sad because you
No,
made money? Like
it
yeah, nigga,
makes great sense.
yeah. If that's what like if you're an empathetic human being, like making money doesn't always feel good.
Right,
It didn't feel good.
right.
And they're like, "Oh, we'll give it away," and like that doesn't change anything. Like it just don't change nothing. Like I help out a lot. Like you'll never see it on the news, but I give a lot. But it's just not. I guess that's where my frustration comes from. It's like I can give every dollar I have. It's not gonna fix the system, and people are always gonna be poor. People are always gonna be struggling, and that's my mindset. Is like I'm trying to figure out ways to correct the system, and I have some dope ideas in the works, but um, yeah, I guess that's been a recap of my 2020.
So like, what did you do to be intentional to like do that work and like go inside and to like really have this self reflection? What did you do?
Got to talk to a therapist or a psychiatrist because I was getting to the point where I was having anxiety attacks, like panic attacks, like every other day. And I don't know if you ever had a panic attack before, my nigga, but it's not like just calm down, bro. It's
Yeah,
like your chest gets tight, feels like somebody's sitting on your chest. You feel like you're having a heart attack. You don't know what a heart attack feels like, obviously, but you like, yo, this is it. Your hands go numb. You get dizzy, like it's like, and you can't breathe. And that shit was happening every other day. On top of the fact I wasn't sleeping, couldn't my schedule was all I couldn't eat, and it's just like you walk around just like in a funk, and it's like
Mhm.
it's just mentally you like, dog, what is this? Um, and so I had to see somebody. I
Yeah,
like I it was so bad. I went to the hospital like 3 times last year, 3 or 4 times. Shit, I went to the hospital this year. I'm still coming up out of it, but it because when you're in it, it feels so intense. Like I've
yeah,
had a bunch of them, but like sometimes it's like I can't take it, and I need reassurance to know I'm not dying. Like I have
yeah,
to know.
yeah,
And so I even went to a cardiologist, like, and they're like, "Yo, there's nothing wrong, G." And so I was like, "Yo, let me talk to some like serious that could like help me, maybe with medication if I need it." I was on anxiety medication for like probably a good 3 or 4 weeks, maybe longer, maybe like 2 months. And it helped, but she realized, and I realized really quickly that I can't depend on anxiety medication. I have to be able to sit with it. I have to be able to do all the right things. I have to eat right. I have to exercise. I have to drink water. I have to do all those things that helps my body react right in those situations. And so it was mainly seeing a psychiatrist, dog, and dealing with like my issues, and really all the wars I was fighting in my life, all the baby moms, my brother, my sister, my mother, my father, my the homie I ain't spoke to in a while, like all these little small battles I was fighting by just like holding grudges or like, yo, fuck them or whatever. I addressed it head on. I'm like, yo, I don't want that in my life anymore. So
mhm,
like, let's squash whatever this is. And that's me eating a lot of crow. It's me biting my tongue because at the end of the day, that's all. There's a whole bunch of little ego battles.
yeah.
You just want to be right,
That's it.
and and so at the end of the day, I was just like, I don't care about being right anymore.
Yeah,
Even though I might be right, I might not be right. I just don't care. What I care about is peace.
yeah,
And I think that's the big difference between me and my old self was I really just want peace right now. That's all I
mhm,
want is peace, man. And I'm willing to do anything to do so. Like I had a toxic baby mom, like and a relationship with her, like toxic. And to her point, I was like, I'll never speak to this woman again. My mother, I'll never speak to her again. But it's got to the point where it's like, who's this really affecting? It's affecting me for sure, but it's also affecting my kids.
all right, yeah,
My kids look at that relationship and they say, "Yo, like it's uncomfortable. Every time we go over to your house, it's uncomfortable.
yep,
Every time you drop us off at her house, it's just uncomfortable."
yep,
And so I just extended the olive branch. It was like, "Yo, you know what? Tell me why you mad at me. I'll tell you why I was upset with you, and let's just work this shit out. Cause I don't want this anymore. This ain't good for anybody, man."
right, right,
And she luckily she was understanding and she heard me out and she's like, I'm glad we got to the chance. And I we're not there yet, but I want to get to the point where it's like I want to stop, like, yo, let me stop by and let me go have dinner, with you and the kids. Like, and she's like, yeah, come through. Like that would be dope. You know what I'm saying? That's my goal. And so I'm working towards that. And I want to have that relationship with everybody in my life. At the end of the day, man, when they throw me in my box, I want niggas in the front row and in the back row to be like, yo, that was a real one. And he did what he
yeah.
could to spread peace on the earth.
No, that's powerful, and I respect you, for sharing all that. You know what I'm saying, here with me, because you don't have to, and
I mean, I'm an open book nowadays, bro.
you know what I'm saying. But real talk, I appreciate that. I mean, one of the things, man, that I learned, by myself in 2020, again from my mother's transition and losing my mother, was that like number one, man, shit is just not in my control like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the more that I try to hold on to control, the more anxious I get, the more fearful I get,
No.
the more angry I get. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And that's just not good for my lady, my son, my in-laws, like my home. Like it's just not good for my world and my ecosystem. You,
No.
you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I get that. But it's just so powerful and just so important to hear you say that. And I mean, for both of us, man. I mean, we in 2021, 10 years ago, brothers wasn't sitting down talking about panic attacks and having issues where they sitting down and reflecting and meditating. Like that just wasn't no normal shit to have, man.
I used to think that shit was soft. 100%. I was that nigga. I was like, you soft, bro.
Facts,
Man
facts,
up, nigga. That's what I
facts,
used to say. Man up, dog. Yeah.
facts. And I would be alive. I was to say wasn't that same dude. Like, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like even the aspect of just like dealing with my lady. Like, you know what I'm saying? My
Yeah.
vice is coming up, growing up in a domestic violence household. Now my father, my father I like to call him a reformed street nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Same with my pops.
he was in the 80s. He was out there. He got hooked on substances real bad. And everything that I seen him go through when I was a kid, he always had a different chick. So for myself, that's what it was for me. And that shit is not only toxic, man, but like that doesn't help allow me to have healthy space. You know what I'm saying? So for my lady, I'm very intentional about like breaking that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's none of that over here. Now 15 years ago, I would have looked at myself like, man, this nigga's a cornball. This nigga don't cheat on his lady. He don't like, man, this dude's a sucker. You know what I'm saying? But listen, you know, try it sometime, man. It's real lovely on this side. You feel
That's growth, man. It's growth. It's growth.
absolutely.